Hey guys, it's Jonas, and today I wanted to take some time to talk about Outward, and more precisely, its two-player co-op experience. Now, don't get me wrong, Outward's single player is a blast to play, but for reasons I will explain in the following video, the cooperation aspect of the game in particular really struck a chord with me. But before we begin, here's a little backstory. I've always been a big fan of RPGs ever since I started gaming a little over 20 years ago. The ability to roam freely in a fantasy world filled with magical creatures and monsters has always stimulated my imagination while I was a kid, and still does to this day. As I grew older, I met friends who were just as passionate as me, and we would spend most of our weekends playing games such as Guild Wars or World of Warcraft and so on. Hell, I must have tried every MMORPG that's ever had a free trial. For me, the cooperation aspect of these games added so much to the RPG experience because I finally got to share these adventures I loved with my friends. Now together we could explore giant landscapes and dark dungeons all the while laughing and just having a good time. Those are still some of my best gaming memories to this day. Nowadays, most MMOs offer little to no innovation, rehashed mechanics, and most of the gameplay often consists of a repetitive grindfest of dailies, linear quest lines, and whatnot. The cooperative RPG element I loved so much in the past seems to have pretty much vanished in favor of a more competitive type of gameplay. Now again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there are no good RPG games that came out in the past 2 decades, there's a plethora of them. But a lot of them were mostly single player focused or had limited cooperative gameplay, or were just, you know, straight up bad. Look, I know it's been said before, but I'm gonna say it again, this game is not for everyone. Outward is far from perfect, it's not a AAA title, hell, it was made by 10 people, so it has flaws. Its mechanics can sometimes feel clunky or not very precise, and it can be frustrating. I understand that there are some types of gamers that prefer more responsive and fluid controls, and who will not find this type of gameplay appealing, and that's okay too. But for those who do, like me, boy, what a trip. The first time you venture into Outward's gigantic world, it can be pretty intimidating. For the first few hours of my playthrough, I would never venture too far from the starting city in fear of dying or contracting a disease. The game doesn't really make an emphasis on the story. I mean, it's there and it's pretty good, but you can pretty much do anything you want and go anywhere you want right from the start. And that kind of freedom can be confusing at first, especially when there's so much to explore. But once I got the hang of it and my buddy joined in, that's when Outward's world really started to shine. The game's engine is probably not the most sophisticated you've ever seen, but the design, the art, and the way everything blends together so nicely makes it truly beautiful. The survival mechanics also made the world feel much more threatening, and we often had to stop between fights to gather ourselves up, approaching every encounter very carefully. We often had to set up camp to replenish our health and stamina, and stop in cities to sell our extra loot, refilling our backpacks with food, teas, and potions, preparing for the next trip. As there is no fast travel at all, every journey must be done on foot, and so you have to plan accordingly. Also, as it is not possible to manually save your game, since the game auto-saves after your every move, it forces you to live with the choices you make, either good or bad. Oh my god, I'm dead.
Oh, what? What?
He killed me, dude. Attention, il est fort.
Oh shit. Oh my god, he killed me.
The face kick. Book. You see, in Outward, you are not a great and powerful hero. You're just a casual dude who goes on an adventure. Everything can, and probably will, kill you or make you sick. Even the weather. You have to manage food, water, and plan ahead if you want to survive. And sharing that kind of experience with a friend often gives way to truly hilarious moments. Haha! Boom! Bye! What I mean is, you don't just group up and warp to the next location, clear the dungeon, and then go back to the main city and repeat. You actually have to explore. The game forces you to explore. And this is what makes it so great and what I find has been lacking in most MMORPGs nowadays. After a few hours of playing, I was talking with my buddy about the game, and we were thinking about when we were gonna play next, already planning the next adventure, and that's when I realized something. This is it. This is pretty much how I felt when I started playing WoW over 10 years ago. I was genuinely excited to log onto the game and start exploring that living, breathing world with my friend. Something I haven't felt for a long time. Now sure, Outward doesn't have the visuals and gameplay mechanics of a Dark Souls title, for example, but its cooperative aspect is, in my opinion at least, just as good, if not better. While in most modern MMOs, you can just turn your brain off and keep grinding, Outward requires you to plan your next move. It requires you to think about what you want to do next and plan accordingly. And so it's rather about the actual exploration more than getting your stats up as efficiently as possible. In short, if you're a die-hard RPG fan like myself, this game will 100% be worth the buy. You will fall in love with this game, and my only advice to you is to find someone to play it with. It will keep you both entertained for many, many fun hours together. And please, please, 9 Dots and Deep Silver, if you ever happen to land on this video, please make this playable for up to 4 players. And it can even be a paid DLC, I don't care. Just make it happen, please. Alright, so thank you all for watching, and make sure to leave a like and or a comment telling me your impressions about the game. I would love to know. Also, make sure to subscribe if you would like to see more, and follow me on Twitch. I stream from time to time. Thank you guys, until next time, and have a good one.